The sitting is resumed. Honourable for Christ Church Central.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Speaker. And I first want to congratulate the Honourable Member for St. Peter for a very robust and comprehensive presentation today on the national insurance. And naturally, sir, it is something that strategically for this country is absolutely important. Now, as you are aware, sir, this really is a cognate debate, and I'm going to take an opportunity just to go through a few aspects of the second bill. But before I do that, sir, let me say that the discussion around national insurance as a strategic asset, sir, for this country is important for Barbadians to understand that it is not just a function of demography, meaning, sir, the age cohort or profile of the population. And those things equally, sir, are important. But once you're talking about social security, sir, and I've said in this chamber already, as an economist, we are often concerned, sir, with the concept of overlapping generations. So we live in a house, sir, with your great-grandmother, your grandmother, your mother, you're the children, sir. And therefore, the interest of the household, sir, the welfare of the household is important to understand how, not just how wealth is transferred from one generation to the next, sir, but equally, sir, how the development of the household impacts, sir, the development of the country. And therefore, the idea of social security and making sure that the system, sir, is strengthened and robust to deliver for all citizens, sir, of all ages, is an important element. And therefore, the changes being recommended here, sir, I believe are important given the demographic profile that Barbados currently has. But let me say to Barbados, sir, that one of the key things that we have not really mentioned sufficiently today, sir, and I want to just briefly touch on it. Because whilst we are talking on different subjects, sir, education one week, sir, health the next week, social security the next week, sir, crime prevention the next week, sir, welfare in terms of the reform of the social security system, the social services system, sir, all of these things, sir, are interrelated. Absolutely interrelated, sir. And I want to spend just a few minutes, sir, just a couple of minutes, on why we need to ensure that for the strength of the social security, that we need to get education reform absolutely, absolutely, absolutely right, sir. Because having made significant investments over the years in education, sir, in 2023 moving forward, sir, if we are going to be looking at how the generations overlap, meaning, sir, like a relay race, if your grandmother, sir, buy the piece of land and build a little house on it, sir, it means that the child and the grandchildren, sir, they really should be contributing more to the family's welfare going forward, sir. And therefore, it's going to be important that as we embark on education reform, dealing with the matters in relation to how people's health and well-being, sir, health and wellness, dealing, sir, with providing young people with opportunities, the idea of being able to contribute to a social security system would mean, sir, that our young people really should be earning, sir, relative to their grandparents, sir. Their earnings should be 3 or 4 times higher relative to what their grandparents, sir, were making when they buy the house, sir, working for at one point 25 cents a week, sir. You know, back then, they were still able to save and buy the piece of land, sir, even with 25 cents a week, and 25 cents a week back then, sir, was still significant sums of money. And therefore, in today's environment, a young person, really, relatively speaking, should be earning in real terms 3 to 4 times that of the level of their grandparents, such that when they contribute into the system, sir, that they're able to supply and support the provision of the benefits for their grandparents, having worked hard and reached retirement, and be able then to still set aside something for themselves and their grandchildren, sir, such that the family unit, the overlapping generation, sir, it gets stronger and stronger one generation to another. And therefore, the education reform is intended to help bolster that and to ensure that the earning capacity of our young people today, going forward, sir, notwithstanding the declining birth rates, notwithstanding, sir, the increase in death rates in the country, that we're able to settle that. So I think we must not, as a country, think of the NAS as something over here, education over there, health over there, sir. It's all part of the same pie. This little small rock, sir, requires us to be focused on how we are going to do things quickly in order to have the benefits accrue earlier, rather than taking 10 years to do this, 15 years to do that, 25 years to do something else, sir, which then all that does is just add to the clogging of the arteries, so to speak, and you're not able to see the true benefits, sir, in relation to where we are going. Now, let me just say, sir, very quickly, for just $21 a week, sir, just for $21 a week, anybody in Barbados, sir, can contribute to the national insurance and receive those suite of benefits that the Honourable Member for St. Michael West Central spoke about very briefly in his presentation, sir. $21 a week. And therefore, whilst it may seem as if it's this amorphous thing, this thing called Social Security, $21 a week, sir, is all that it takes at the moment to have access to this thing. So when people hear about 500 contributions or 750 contributions and all that, sir, that is small relative in the context of making that small contribution, sir, every week as you're working to be able to get access to the system. So you're self-employed. Yes, you're a taxi man, you're an entertainer, you're whatever, but that $21 a week, sir, should be the first thing that comes out and you put set aside for the NIS. You do your direct debit, let the NIS take it out, and you're good to go. But the reality is, sir, that we must reinforce to people that you have to be able to put something in the pot, sir, before you can get something out. And the reality is that you have a choice. You can take a risk and decide, I can back myself. And when you back yourself, sir, if something happens, then you can't have a reasonable expectation then that the rest of us will look after you. I know that our society is one, sir, that we like to look after people, but people should not take advantage, sir, of that generosity, because all of us, sir, have a responsibility to put something in the pot, because we never know, sir, how much we may need to draw from that pot at any point in time. And therefore, we have to be able to put in our 2 cents, sir, in relation to solving that. And so I think these amendments, I am absolutely supportive, sir, and therefore it's something that we need to ensure that we do quickly, so that as we age gracefully, sir, as we age gracefully, and as we do more stuff within, whether it's immigration, and it's going to take some time for us to be able to build back the population naturally. I almost rose, sir, on a point of order when they heard the Honourable Member for St. Michael North, being the youngest member in the Parliament, saying that he don't think he will need access to the paternity benefits to be introduced, because the truth is, sir, he needs to get to work like the rest of our young people, sir, of that generation, in order to no, I'm serious, sir. I mean, these are discussions that people need to have about how we are going to increase our population. So when he made that statement, sir, I know I understand what he was saying, but the reality is, sir, that these are conversations that as we invest in our young people, they must see building a family, sir, raising a family in this country as part of their responsibility as well. And therefore, as we continue to invest more in giving more opportunities, economic opportunities for young people, equally, sir, part of that has to be about how we can build a strong population. And therefore, that is something that we're going to have conversations with both men and with young men and women about how they're able to make that contribution into the context of building back Barbados community. Now, sir, I'm going to turn just very quickly to the the other bill that we're debating in the cognate very quickly, just to highlight a few things. Because as we are moving the NIS, sir, to an independent statutory body, for all the good reasons that have been articulated before, sir, the substance of the miscellaneous pensions, miscellaneous provisions bill, sir, really relates to the provision of pensions for public servants. And it is important to appreciate, sir, just as the honourable member for St. Peter raised in his presentation this morning, that for existing public servants, sir, existing public servants, that there are no changes at all, sir, with respect to the rights of any public servant that's already employed in the government service, sir. All of the necessary amendments relate to, in this bill, sir, relates to public servants who will enter the service on January 1st, 2024. So let me repeat, sir. There's no change with respect to the rights, pension rights, of any existing public servant. These measures will apply for all new public servants entering the service on January 1st, 2024. So in much the same way, sir, as we are making the national changes in relation to Social Security, we too must appreciate and understand the changes that have happened over the years. And I don't have all the time now, sir, to go through all of the things from when people were getting two pensions, sir, and all the long leave and all the different things that happen. But the reality is, sir, in the same way that persons within the context of the private sector, in a sense, with their employers, have some companies will have pension schemes. The reality is twofold, sir. On the one hand, our national insurance, effectively, sir, is a national pensions provider. So every single employee and every single employer contributes into the national insurance, sir. In the private sector, it is 6.75% for the employee, 6.75%, sir, for the employer in relation to the contributions. And it's a similar level in the context of the public sector for temporary workers, 6.75, 6.75. For appointed persons in the public service, it's 6.25. 6.25 is the level of contribution in relation to pension. So I want to make it clear, sir, that there are those who should know better, saying that public servants, sir, who work for a period of time will only get $38 from the Treasury or $70 from the Treasury and the like, sir, as if to say that people working in this country, that there are already pension arrangements in place. And I want to make it clear, sir, to you and to the public through you, sir, that all responsible employers, sir, pay into the national insurance scheme. Those who can afford it, sir, sets up a scheme separate from the national insurance scheme to give additional pension opportunities for the employees, such that the whole idea, sir, of planning for retirement is an important element that we need to ensure that people understand. That the Social Security gives you pension up to a certain level, sir. Up to a certain level, and no more. And therefore, if you want to have additional income in your retirement, which is the earnings, the earning ceiling is the limit. If you want anything above the earning ceiling, sir, it means you got to plan for it, sir. You got to set aside something to make sure that if you want something over and above the earning ceiling, that you're able to do that. And therefore, we are proposing, sir, that in this bill, that for new public servants, sir, new public servants entering the service on January 1st, 2024, sir, that for those employees in the public service who enter the public service from the first day of January 2024 that for those employees that are under the maximum insurable earnings ceiling, that they shall contribute, sir, 2% of their emoluments in relation to contributions, and those who are above the insurable ceiling, sir, that they will contribute 5% of their income into the fund. There will be, sir, a separate fund created. I'm going to get the precise name, sir. Created in order to ensure that these funds are managed, which too will be managed, sir, by the National Insurance Scheme. And therefore, it is something that we want to make abundantly clear, sir. I'm trying to find this. Oh, yes. The establishment of the Public Service Fund, sir, on page 16 of the bill, is where these funds will be administered, sir, in relation to new public servants entering the service from January 1st, 2024. Now, as I spoke, sir, those would be the mandatory contributions into the fund, sir, which will be managed by the National Insurance, which we are now setting up independently, sir, to ensure that, as the Honourable Member for St. Michael West Central indicated, the National Insurance Investment Committee, sir, and the rates of return of that investment committee, sir, is perhaps, sir, the best set of returns for any investment entity in Barbados. And therefore, any person entering the public service should have confidence in the management of those funds by the said National Insurance Scheme, sir, given the track record that they've had in relation to the investment opportunities. And therefore, it is something that we want to encourage, sir, persons to ensure that they understand that planning for retirement starts from the day, sir, you enter the workforce. And in the same way that the Honourable Member for St. Michael North indicated that when he first started packing the shelves and the ladies told him to go down and get his NAS number, sir, that what he was in effect saying, sir, that he was started planning his retirement at 18 years old. And I thank those ladies for informing him of that, and many other persons in our workplaces who will mentor and speak with young people about what they need to do as young working people to be able to ensure that they get on the right path. But the National Insurance is not the only, sir, opportunity for retirement planning, and therefore it is important that we get people to appreciate that if you put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, and it's not the best term, but the reality is, sir, is that things change. And if you don't plan for having some additional type of income, then you may find yourself upon retirement recognizing that your obligations are clearly much higher than what you anticipated it would be. And if you don't take care of yourself, sir, in the way that you ought to, sometimes, ill health can also cause some issues in relation to your financial situation, and therefore you find yourself in this, faced with mounting expenses, but on a fixed income. And therefore it is important that we understand that living as healthy as you can, sir, looking out for yourself, getting insurance and the like, sir, is a very, very important part of not just for pension, but just for living, sir, and taking care of yourself. And therefore you have to plan for these elements, and it's important, sir, that we do this in a responsible way. Now, sir, what we will also encourage people to do is, where they can, to make voluntary payments into the fund. And in much the same way that we are doing this for the public servants, we say to all Barbadians, as I said, sir, it only takes $21 to get access to NAS benefits. So any little extra that you have, sir, you could put in, whether NAS, sir, or to the public service fund, sir, because it is important that we understand, sir, that every little bit that you put in, sir, extra $5, if you could put an extra $5, $10 every week, sir, over 30, 40 years, sir, that makes a significant difference to the outcome at the end. And therefore, where persons can afford to put in those extra funds, sir, we are making provisions in relation to that. And within the context, sir, of the bill, for those persons who are under the maximal insurable earnings, sir, there is provision for an additional 1% in terms of voluntary contribution, sir. And for those above the maximal insurable earnings, there's voluntary contribution of up to 3% in relation to the rates of contributions, which we know, sir, given the length of time that people are living, it is going to be important that as part of our pension planning, sir, that we are able to ensure that over and above that which the government or any government will contribute with respect as an employer into national insurance separately, that the establishment of this fund, sir, would allow for public servants to equally, sir, have additional mechanism for enhancing their pensions. And therefore, we feel that this is a very critical intervention today to ensure that as the population ages, sir, and as the population ages, the pension cost for government will increase. But as we make these interventions now, then it means then that we're able to manage, sir, the fiscal situation much better, because the contributions in relation to pensions will be smooth over time. Now, let me just say, sir, very, very quickly, that there were much consultations on this matter over the course of the last few years. And I must say, let me thank, sir, there was a pension subcommittee established within the social partnership, sir, within the social partnership with representation from the Employees Confederation, representation from the BPSA, sir, the government of Barbados, sir. There was representation, obviously, sir, from the unions. We had 4 representatives, sir, from C2SAB, 2 representatives, sir, from the Barbados Workers Union, 1 representative, sir, from the NUPW, and 2 representatives, sir, from ECLA, which was the entity, sir, that did the evaluation of the public pensions system in relation to being able to come to this specific position. And the truth is, sir, that whilst we were intending to do this earlier, the pandemic obviously delayed its implementation, and therefore, having done the actuarial report, received the actuarial report, we felt it was an opportunity, sir, to ensure that we synchronize and harmonize, sir, with respect to the implementation of these reforms, which we know, sir, will not just make sure that the fund, whether it's the National Insurance Fund or this newly established public service fund, that we're able to ensure that pension provisions for the public, sir, will be strengthened in relation to being able to help persons plan for their retirement. Now, sir, much has been said already in this debate, and I plan to wrap it up shortly, but this is an important element in terms of securing Barbados' future. And I started by saying, sir, that every particular reform that we're undertaking as a government, sir, it is all related. And therefore, this is not just about pensions in its own right, it is really about how do we secure families, sir, in this country to ensure that persons can live out their lives, sir, in relative comfort. And so, sir, with those very few words, I beg to move, sir, that this bill be read a second time. I'm obliged to you.
The question is that this bill be read a second time. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. We think the ayes have it. Honorable member for St. Peter.
Can I go ahead first?
Honorable member for St. Peter. You got to nominate somebody for. Chairman, you have to remember acting chairman has to be nominated in the absence of the substantive chairman of committees.
Mr. Speaker, if I understand you correctly, I beg to move that we ask the, sorry, that you don't need it.
No, we can't.
No.
No, we can't get to that yet, sir. You have, remember, you have to, a resolution, you have to move that.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the Honourable Member for St. George North be appointed temporary chair of committees.
The question is that the honourable member for St. George North be appointed temporary chair of committees. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Me think the ayes have it. The honourable member for St. George North is so appointed. Honourable member for St. Peter.
You do not leave the chair, and the House resolve itself into committee for further consideration of these bills.
No, it has to be done one at a time.
Sorry, this bill.
The question is that the Speaker do not leave the chair and the House resolve itself into committee for further consideration of this bill. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Me think the ayes have it.
The House is now in committee.
Clause 1.
Madam Chair, I beg that clause 1 stand parked.
Clause 1 stand parked. All those honourable. Aye. All against, please say no. He thinks the ayes have it.
Clause 2.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 2 stand parked.
Question is that clause 2 stand parked. All honourable members in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
All those members against, please say no. He thinks the ayes have it.
Clause 3.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 3 be amended to insert at 11T1 a new E, which will say the Chief Investment Officer, and that the current E becomes F, the current F becomes G, and the current G what is supposed to be G becomes H.
The question is that clause 3
As amended, stand part.
stand part. All honorable members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Clause 4.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 4 stand part.
Question is that clause 4 stand part. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye. All those against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Clause 5.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 5 stand part.
Question is that clause 5 stand part. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 6 stand part.
The question is that clause 6 stand part. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye. All those against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Clause 7 as amended.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 7 be amended to include at 25B1B, after the word by and just before 1.5, the words up to. And I beg to move that that amended clause stand part.
The question is that clause 7 as amended stand part. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye. All those against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Clause 8.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 8 stand part.
The question is that clause 8 stand part. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against, please say no.
9.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 9 stand part.
The question is that clause 9 stand part. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Clause 10.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 10 stand part.
The question is that clause 10 stand part. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Clause 11.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 11 stand part.
The question is that clause 11 stand part. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye. All those members against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Clause 12.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 12 stand part. The question is that clause 12 stand part. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those members against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Clause 13.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 13 stand part.
The question is that clause 13 stand part. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye. All those members against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Clause 14.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 14 stand part.
The question is that clause 14 stand part. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye. All those members against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
First schedule.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that the first schedule be the first schedule to the bill.
The question is that the schedule be the first schedule to the bill. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye. All those members against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Second schedule.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that the second schedule be the second schedule to the bill.
The question is that the second schedule be the schedule to the bill. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye. All those members against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Madam Chair, I beg that you do now report to His Honor the Speaker the passage of one bill in committee with amendments.
The question is that I do now report to His Honor the Speaker the passing of one bill in committee with amendments. One bill with amendments. Is it amendments in committee? All those honorable members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those members against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
The chairman of committees is reporting the passing of one bill with amendments. Honourable member for St. Peter.
Mr. Speaker, I do now beg that this bill be read a third time.
The question is that the aforementioned bill be read a third time. All those honourable members in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it. Honourable member for St. Peter.
Mr. Speaker, I do now ask that this bill do not pass and be cited as the National Insurance and Social Security Amendment Act 2023.
One second again.
Then a second.
One second the bill.
You don't go vote.
The question is that the aforementioned bill be passed and so cited. All those honourable members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it. This bill is passed and so cited.
Order number 5, sir. Order number 5 on the order paper in the name of the Honourable Minister of Finance, in the Ministry of Finance, to move the second reading of the Pensions Miscellaneous Provisions Bill 2023.
Honourable member for Christchurch, East Central.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this bill be read a second time.
The question is that the bill be read a second time. All those honourable members in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, do not beg to move that you leave the chair and the House resolve itself in committee for further consideration of this bill.
The question is that the Speaker do not leave the chair and the House resolve itself into committee for further consideration of this bill. All those honourable members in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
The House is now in committee.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 1 stand part.
The question is that clause 1 stand part. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye. All those members against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Clause 2.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 2 stand part.
The question is that clause 2 stand part. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye. All those members against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Schedule.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that the schedule be the schedule of the bill.
The question is that the schedule be the schedule to the bill. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye. All those members against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that you do not report to His Honor the Speaker the passing of one bill in committee.
The question is that I do now report to His Honor the Speaker the passing of one bill in committee. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye. All those members against, please say no. Methinks the ayes have it.
Chairman of committees is reporting the passing of one bill in committee. Honourable member for Christchurch East Central.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this bill be read a third time.
The question is that this bill be read a third time. All those honourable members in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. We think the ayes have it. Honourable member for Christchurch East Central.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this bill be now passed and cited as the Pensions Miscellaneous Provisions Act 2023.
The question is that this bill be passed and so cited. All those honourable members in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. We think the ayes have it. This bill is passed and so cited. Honourable Leader of Government Business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am sure on this Friday night, in the heat of crop over, we did not expect to be in this place, but we have come to the end of today's sitting, certainly after doing the people's business. Mr. Speaker, we are intending to adjourn the House for a period of 2 weeks until the 11th of August. It's Friday, the 11th of August at 10 a.m. I just want to wish everyone a safe and enjoyable crop over at that.
The question is that this honourable chamber be adjourned until Friday, the 10th day of August at 10 a.m. the 11th day of August at 10 a.m. in the forenoon. All those honourable members in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. We think the ayes have it. This honourable chamber stands adjourned until Friday, the 11th day of August at 10 a.m. in the forenoon.